Patch 6.2 is right around the corner, and today I'm going to go through some of the ways that you can prepare for the patch and hopefully get a bit of a head start on everyone else. Now, there are still probably a few weeks left in the PTR, so I will do a update video if there are any new optimizations that come to light over that period of time, but right now I've got a few things that you can probably work on which should help you out quite a bit. Number 10. Right then, Apexis crystals. Do you love them? I hope you do, because they're going to be a major part of this patch. In fact, Apexis crystals are quite literally the main currency of the patch. In Tanan Jungle, you will be able to kill rares and do Apexis missions to get a total of 3,500 crystals per day, so yeah, it is a little bit more than you got in 6.0 and 6.1. In return for the crystals, you can purchase baleful armor and weapon tokens. These turn into randomly statted 650 items that can actually sometimes proc all the way up to 670. On top of that, there are upgrade tokens which cost 20,000 Apexis crystals, and they actually boost that gear up to 695. Now, the tokens drop absurdly quick. In the space of doing one Apexis mission inside Tanan Jungle, I managed to get 5 of them, so it's not worth spending your Apexis crystals on those. If you cap Apexis now and have 60,000 crystals, which is a big undertaking, you'll be able to purchase 3 of the upgrade tokens on day 1 of the patch, which will net you 3 of the tokens which upgrade the easy-to-get baleful gear into 695 item level. So that will give you a really big sort of boost at the start of the patch. That said, the new Apexis mission gives you 2,000 crystals per day, and there's also a new daily quest to kill rares inside Tanan Jungle that nets you 1,500 crystals. Additionally, there are going to be Apexis crystal bonus events, so getting Apexis is going to be a faster affair when this patch drops. Still though, if you want to, get a little bit of a head start and you can still face the idea of 6.0 missions and doing the missives, then, well, now is a decent time to head start if you really want to do that. Number 9. Next, it's time to talk about gold, and farming gold actually makes quite a bit of sense in preparation for this patch. First of all, if you're interested in mounts, then you will be able to purchase a reskinned boar and clefthoof, exciting I know, at a new garrison vendor for 10,000 and 20,000 gold respectively, but in terms of player power, you will be able to purchase the old Apexis gear for gold. Now, the PTR prices are currently 1k for level 1, 5k for level 2, 10k for level 3, and then finally 20k for level 4. You don't need to purchase the previous level though, and if I'm honest, 20,000 gold for a bit of that 675 Apexis gear is really expensive, and you'd be far better looking at, say, BOEs from the AH. But if you've got fresh alts, then spending the money just to get them with level 1 or 2 bits of Apexis gear for those slots could really help you get ready for Tanan Jungle and get in there at a decent level pretty quickly. Once you've got a week or 2 of Tanan work done, you'll pretty much be ready for Hellfire Citadel LFR. So again, if you want a bit of a boost, then farm up some gold in addition to those Apexis crystals. Number 8. Next, if you are into professions, then it might actually be worth leveling up your gathering professions in preparation for this patch. This might be a bit of a kick in the teeth to those of you who dropped them for 6.0, but, well, in patch 6.0 and 6.1, mining and herbalism were pretty much useless due to the garrison buildings, but they are going to be essential to the economy in patch 6.2. The new equivalent to Savage Bloods, which is called Feldblight, is actually a rare drop from ore veins, herbs, and then skinning mobs. There's no other way to get these as far as we know. Blizzard have actually confirmed that you won't be able to purchase them from the Garrison Primal Spirit vendor, so if you have one of these gathering professions and you're willing to put in a bit of time to go and start farming things, then there should be a good bit of gold in it for you, especially at the very start of the patch. Number 7. Another tip that I think would really help you out is getting Aviana's Feather, and more so than in patch 6.0 and 6.1, because Tanan Jungle is really densely packed with mobs. I mean really dense. Getting around on foot can be a pain in the ass, even without actually mobs being taken into account, some of the areas are just a bit tricky to get around. You've got big cliffs and things like that sometimes. Also, some of the mobs have got really annoying abilities, like they might throw a chain at you and pull you back, so if you can use Aviana's Feather to just fly over all that stuff, well, job done, problem solved. It'll be really easy to get around, and it's pretty much got the ideal range for dropping from area to area within Tanaan Jungle. Getting this is pretty simple, just get an inn in your garrison and then wait until Aviana's quest actually appears. It's really simple. Number 6. Next, on the topic of mobs being a bit of a pain in the butt, it might be worth getting the stables if you are into that sort of thing. Because of the mob density in Tanaan Jungle, the ability to not be dazed by mobs is just going to be really, really nice. Of course, you might not have room for a stable in your garrison, but if you do, I recommend it. In fact, I especially recommend it if you also are planning on doing gathering professions in this patch, because the stable will let you mine ore, pick herbs and things like that while you're still mounted, so you won't be able to be dazed, you'll be able to go about the place pretty much, you know, untroubled by mobs, and it should be quite handy. So the stable's definitely worth considering for patch 6.2. Another very important point that's mainly for the raiders is do the legendary quest. I mean the stuff in patch 6.1 with all those elemental runes. As much as I don't find grinding various kinds of stones to be that much fun, it really is worth doing the legendary quest this time around, especially since the ring is so powerful and also the design of the ring. Now, of course, it is always a good idea to get the best gear possible, but the ring's effect is basically an additional raid cooldown. Essentially, when used, the ring will proc a damage, healing, or tanking buff, but more importantly, it will activate the other DPS, tank, or healing rings in the raid. This basically means that you have a new defensive, DPS, and healing cooldown within your raid. Having access to this as soon as possible and ensuring that all of your raid members are able to take part in those sort of burst moments of extra healing and extra damage is going to be really important, and getting everyone to have this ring and just be ready for, you know, jumping right into the legendary quest in 6.2 is going to be so important for getting as much raid utility as you can possibly get. Number 4. If you want to get a little bit of a boost to your income when the patch comes out, a good tip is actually to stockpile your rush orders for the garrison work orders. Essentially, stockpiling these is most likely going to be worth it at the start of the patch, because Blizzard are increasing the amount of materials that you get from work orders by quite a bit as of the release of this patch. This means that a single work order rush is worth less now than it will be when the patch actually hits. So if you've got no massive need for the materials right now, then it's best to just pump your garrison resources or whatever into those work order rushes, stockpile them up for the start of patch 6.2, and then you'll be able to use them all to rush through higher yield work orders. It should just be a nice little optimization for those of you who want some good value crafting materials when the patch drops. Number 3. Another thing that patch 6.2 is bringing is epic gems. Now, if you're a jewel crafter, or maybe if you're just interested in it, then this will probably be a pretty major new market when the patch drops. Basically, it's worth you knowing if you want to make the money. The epic gem is going to cost 100 taladites, one of a previous rare quality gem, and then 10 Fellblight. Yep, it uses Fellblight. So these are going to be really, really expensive. To be ready for this, what I'd say is just stockpile up your Talidite work orders, you know, do them constantly to save them up for the patch, and then stockpile your work order rushes, as I've already covered, so that you can get a crap load of Talidites at the very start of the patch, and then your only bottleneck is going to be the Fellblight. Now, if you've got a crafter or a gatherer, then head out, grab that Fellblight, and there will be a market, I'd say, at the very start of the patch, especially if you're on a server that's got top-tier raiding guilds, or at least very good raiding guilds, who will want that extreme power right off the bat. So, if you can provide them on day 1 or day 2, then you should be positioned to make quite a bit of money. Number 2. Another thing that I suppose will help you out a lot is actually knowing, or at least having a good guess as to when this patch will actually come out. And with patch 6.2, it's actually very easy to guess a solid date, in my opinion. Blizzard often likes to bring out content to meet that of other games, and it just so happens that Final Fantasy XIV's next expansion, Heaven's Sword, is coming out on the 23rd of June, with pre-order customers getting a few days of early access. Now, the 23rd is a Tuesday, but I think that Blizzard will release 6.2 on Tuesday the 16th to match the early access. That's just under a month away, and based on the PTR looking like it's mostly in the polish phase, and much of the raid testing is already done, it seems like a really probable date. Also, in the middle of writing this video, the patch actually came up on the background downloader, and that again indicates this sort of 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more time frame that we're looking at. Still though, you've got plenty of time to get ready on as many characters as you need to. Number 1. It's also worth just learning about the patch itself, and I'll give you a quick overview and I'll forward you to some various links in this point. So first of all, the shipyard is the new extension to the garrison. It uses a new resource which is called oil, and you get oil inside Tanan Jungle by doing the Apexis dailies. Also, the shipyard system is really similar to the follower one. You build ships and then you send them off on missions. As a ship's rarity increases, it actually unlocks up to 2 extra equipment slots. You can purchase equipment for garrison resources, which will allow your ships to counter more threats. The main reward of this is bind on account Baleful Gear tokens, which you can send off to your alts, and then Hellfire Citadel raid gear, pretty much in the same vein as the raid gear that we got from the garrison follower system. Tanan Jungle is the main zone of this patch, and you unlock it after doing a few short quests. Once you're there, you get a new garrison campaign quest every week, and other than that, you have a daily quest to kill 5 rares, and a new Apexis mission which is located inside Tanan. The jungle's littered with treasures and rare mobs which drop garrison resources, gear, 650 bits of gear, baleful tokens, and also some toys. Now this patch also brings mythic dungeons which drop 685 gear from the sort of normal bosses, and then 700 from the final boss. There's also a new bonus event system which includes time walking, bonuses to Apexis crystals, and many different things, and I'll have a link to that down in the description. And then of course we have the new raid, which is Hellfire Citadel. If you want to take a look at some of the bosses, then Fat Boss TV have actually got a bunch of previews up on YouTube. On the PvP front, well, you're not getting really that much, though there is a new PvP season and Ashran has been tweaked a bit. I also recommend checking out all of your class changes. There are a few, however Blizzard have decided not to do any major class overhauls or big changes to gameplay in content patches as of WoD, because apparently back in Mists of Pandaria it actually led to people leaving the game. In terms of other things for the patch, they've got the adventure guide, which is basically just a content suggestion system which roughly tells you what you should be doing. And that is pretty much it. You've got Tanan, you've got the shipyard, you've got the new raid, a few tweaks in Ashran, a few other tweaks and things like that here and there, but that's essentially it for the patch. Alright then, that is it for the video. I hope you found it useful, and of course, if there are any more optimizations, then I will make a follow-up at some point in the future. As we discussed, it's probably 3 to 4 weeks until this patch comes out, so there is still a little bit of wiggle room for Blizzard to tweak around with things on the PTR. Anyway, that has been it for me. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.